Peace and welcome back to the Abundantly Ever After show. I am so excited that I am feeling better and able to record. It's kind of down for the count for a bit because I had this horrible head cold and I was congested and it just was not a good time to record. But I'm so excited to be back. Like, life is really great. And I just want to continue to just share positivity, inspiration, and to help you live abundantly ever after. So I have been working on a few things since I hadn't recorded new episodes recently. So if you head over to abundantlyeverafter.show, you will see that the website is up and it's live. You can also sign up for my Illumination and Inspiration newsletter. And I'll also send you a journal to help you manifest the life that you desire and deserve. So today, this episode is probably going to be a little bit quicker, and it's actually some homework for you, a little food for thought to help you kind of take a look at your life, and more specifically, the people in your life. Oftentimes, we are surrounded by people, family, friends, significant others, just other human beings that are around us that have an impact on our life, whether it is negative or positive, neutral, and every other variant in between. It's very important to know what role people play in your life, how they add value to your life, how you're able to add value to their life, just so you know the quality of that relationship and whether or not it's something that you actually need to give your energy to, if it's something that you want to continue, or if it's something that you should kind of like decide to release, let go, and walk away from. And that's not to say everybody has their place, right? Everybody is not going to be a close confidant, best friend level. Some people are just there for like when you want to go out and have a good time. So you have good time friends. You have the friends that you can confide in because you know that you can trust them with your deepest and darkest secrets. They have your best of interest in mind. And then you may have the friends who are just good when it's time to turn up for a little bit. Also, like looking at, a lot of times we get stuck in toxic familial situations because it's like, oh, this is my sister, or that's my mom, or this is my my aunt. I have to show them respect because we're family. And that's not always the case. I am a huge proponent of really protecting your peace, especially when it comes to toxic family, because they do feel entitled to your time, to your energy, and just to you in general because you're quote unquote family. So we're going to take a look at some of these things and just kind of figure out who your circle is and where everyone falls in that circle, right? So you should have your inner circle. These are the people that you absolutely trust. Then maybe there's like a middle circle who are like people that you are in close contact, close connection, and maybe your outer circle, associates, things like that, people who wouldn't be close friends, but they're, they have a value in your life in some way. So, and I'm sharing this because this is something that I have done. It's something that I do on a regular basis, just to look at like, who are my core people, who are in like my outer ring, who needs to fall off, and who do I kind of just need to create some space and distance around. And so you can do this in a lot of different ways. I usually like start with family, or you can go through your phone list and be like, okay, who do I talk to on a regular and consistent basis? Who do I not hear from? But whatever it is, just make a list of like, start with one person, right? You write their name down and think about the ways in which, are they supportive? How have they supported you? Have they not been supportive? Like when you have good news to share with them, what is their response? Or are they someone that you know you can't share good news with because they're going to say something negative, or, something doubtful, or just, not be supportive, right? So you want to pay attention to that. And then in return, you also want to assess yourself. Am I being a good daughter? Am I being a good friend? Am I being a good person? How am I nurturing this relationship? And if you're not, why is that? Sometimes it needs to be that way because maybe they don't respect your boundaries, or they don't accept some aspect of who you are. There can be a number of different things, but until you really sit down and figure out what is this relationship about, what is the core essence of it, how does it make me feel, how do I feel when I'm around this person, you won't really know the energy of that relationship. So one of the things that I teach in my course, it's called Relationship Coaching, Discover the Energy of Love. It's on Udemy. I talk about the 4 layers of love, or the 4 types of relationships. And you may have heard these, but I kind of explain them in a different way. So one, there's like the low vibrational relationship. There are karmic relationships. Then there's like the good relationship. And then there's what I like to call spiritual love. All relationships can fall within these ranges. And they are ranges. They can change, because I do believe that relationships can be healed and they can evolve if both parties are willing to do that. But you kind of want to know, like, okay, do I have an abundance of low vibrational relationships? Do I have a mixture? Do I have these super tumultuous, connections that I can't really get away from? Those would be more so karmic. Do I have generally good relationships, or do I have people in my life who are like part of my tribe, and they are helping to amplify my soul's purpose, my mission here in this lifetime? So once you start to look at the quality of your relationships, you can then kind of turn that on to yourself and examine the relationship that you have with you. How am I valuing myself? How am I supporting myself? How do I talk to myself? How do I generally feel? And just know, like, are you treating yourself the way that you want someone else to treat you? Are you giving yourself the love, the time, the attention that you really need in order to thrive? And it's really good to look at, because especially when you start to see how your relationships with other people can be a mirror of your relationship with yourself. And that might help you also to like look at your boundaries and determine whether or not you have good boundaries, or whether there's some things that you need to shift, whether you need to work at being more assertive or being a little more passive. So there's so many different things that you can learn about yourself just by examining and exploring your relationships. That also empowers you to decide, like, okay, I really want to work at developing a better relationship with my family. Or, you know what, I really want to focus on developing a different type of relationship with my children. Or, wow, like I have been neglecting myself, so I'm going to spend more time there, and maybe that will help strengthen some of my other relationships that I've been pouring too much time and energy into. So it's just a very beautiful way to take stock of a big part of your life, which of course is your relationships. The beautiful thing about this is that it doesn't have to be limited to people. You can look at your relationship to money. You can look at your relationship to so many different aspects of life, to health, to fitness, to your dreams. Like, how are you in relationship with the things that you say that you want to manifest in your life? And really get an understanding of the energy, not only that you're putting out, but that you are receiving back in, because it all matters and it all plays a part in how you show up in the world, what you are able to magnetize or attract to yourself. And it has an impact on your mood, how you connect with and relate with yourself, others, and the world around you. So that's a really beautiful practice to start tuning in and paying attention to the people and the things and the places and the experiences that you have and that you're connected to, and also yourself and how you are relating with other people, because it's going to help you to develop better relationships, to find a little more peace within yourself. And it's also going to help you to focus, or, shift your focus if that's what you need to do. A lot of times we'll say like, oh, there's not enough time in the day, or I have to do all of these other things for other people. Meanwhile, we are neglecting our own goals and dreams because we're so busy taking care of others. And I think this came up because Krishan Rock, I've came across her and just like learned a bit about her and her backstory more recently, because she's been all over social media. And anytime I see somebody that's like going through things, because it reminds me of the time that I was going through shit, I always wonder, like, where are the people in her life, and like what advice are they giving her? And I know, like, we're all adults and she can make her own choices and decisions, and we all have to deal with the consequences behind that. But it's like, when I was going through like the worst time in my life, I was dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety, child custody issues, abuse, all of this stuff. Not one person that called themselves my friend sat me down and was like, girl, listen, I see you. And from the outside looking in, I can see that you're hurting. I can see that you're struggling. I can see that you need help. I can see that something unhealthy is happening to you. I can see a change in you, and it's not a good one. And that's why I'm so big on like auditing my life, auditing myself, auditing the people that I'm connected to. Because if I am drowning and the people who call themselves my friends or my family or, you know, whatever, are just going to stand around and watch me drown without throwing me a life vest, a raft, without jumping in to try to save me, a rope, anything, like, those are not people that you need in your life. Period. Period. Dealing with, especially like dealing with, you know, mental health challenges like depression. One of the common side effects of depression is suicide. Like, that shit is serious. So when you are dealing with trauma on any level, right? And we see this play out across social media, from posts that people share, from posts that, you know, celebrities share, where we're seeing glimpses into, you know, things that are happening in their lives. Trauma is heavy. And if you have people around you that are not conscientious of real life shit, if they're not aware, if they don't care, if they just genuinely think you just supposed to keep taking hits and rolling with the punches and just bouncing back up, if the things that you are going through in life are their entertainment, you don't need them in your life. You need people who are going to pull you to the side, who are going to be able to be a mirror and reflect to you your greatness, to say, hey, like, what's going on? I see better for you. Like, how can I help you? Is there something that's, you know, that you need to talk about? And of course, everybody's not always going to be receptive to that. But at least when, you know, if someone extends a hand and you need help, you're eventually going to take that hand. It might take some time to come around. You can't force somebody to change until, you know, they have to want the change for themselves, right? I knew for me personally, nobody was going to help me. Nobody was going to help me. And I knew that if I did not start making better decisions and, you know, getting myself away from the abuse, finding ways to deal with my depression and anxiety that did not involve alcohol or being around people who that's all they wanted to do. Like, I knew I had to make a change, but not everybody has that awareness. And I shared that before, like, before any type of change can take place, you have to have that awareness. But when you are used to struggle, to pain, to trauma, that shit is normal. And it's until you start to realize, like, hey, my life can be different, that you start to think differently. And it's hard to think differently to begin with when you are surrounded by people who thrive off of negativity, people who enjoy chaos, people who enjoy seeing you down or struggling because that's what they're used to. Or maybe they're just haters and they don't want to see you do good, because that can be the case too. So that's why I think it's very important to evaluate your circle, evaluate the conversations you're having, the people that you're connecting to. Just really start to evaluate, start to look at things from a different perspective. And I promise you, I promise you, things will change. I had to go through a period of solitary, right? I was alone. I was in hermit mode because the people that I was used to, the people who I thought were like my core, the people who I thought were my circle, they weren't my circle. And it was lonely. It was so lonely. But I tell you what, as soon as you start to step away from the people who are not meant for you, the people who are meant for you, your soul family, your soulmate friends, your soulmates, they are going to come into your life, and you're going to have different types of conversations. You're going to have different types of friendships and relationships than you ever imagined possible. And you yourself are going to change because you're no longer tethered to a bunch of negativity, to a bunch of past energy, to a bunch of traumatic relationships that make you feel small, that encourage you to stay within the confines of whatever box your, friends or family or whoever have placed you in. So that's going to be it for today. I hope that this has inspired you in some way. Head over to Instagram and follow me at Abundantly Ever After Show. And I look forward to the next episode. Peace.